Today's the morning of August 18th, 2022, and I already have issues. I'm tired. Nauseous. Before bed I was nauseous. Vomited a bit in my mouth when I was brushing my teeth because I had overeaten before bed. And then sat too long. I haven't had enough activity. And then I got a message. Someone said, "I hate your baby voice." Something about "grow up, you petulant child." And I'm thinking, I don't care. I'm not going to alter my reality just to be, like, accepted by everybody. What's the difference if you don't like my baby voice? It just comes out. It's not something that I can alter or care to alter. I just don't care. I'm just going to be myself from now on. And if that's deemed as an issue, if that's a criminal activity, then I'm not sure what to say. So, reminds me of some of those movies that are coming out where people are getting, like, locked up for having individualism and stuff like that, trying to have their own identity. I am starving for some reason too, now that I guess the food is processed. I am going to use the restroom right now in a minute. I didn't think that I was going to be up still. I thought I was going to lie back down and just have some rest before the morning starts. I may have said some stuff about, like, the father of the baby last night when I was on live, and mentioned that, like, I loved him and that, I wanted to see the best for him. But like, personally, I know that since I was left alone for the 9 months of the pregnancy, that I'm not gonna be able to, like, have those feelings. I know that it would be stupid it wouldn't be rational to let someone else abuse me after I've already been abused my whole life. So I know that there is no reconciling between the father and I. And I know that that's stupid talk when people talk and get me to divulge what I would like, in a perfect world, I would have never separated from the father. You just don't go around making babies, in my opinion. In my opinion, he has too many children, and he had chose those women and then neglected them and the children. And I don't want to be another number. I don't want to be abused, and that's exactly the type of person I'm dealing with. So if I were to back down and say that it wasn't rape, then, that would be the devil winning. That would be these men that are the devil, that, and then that'll just give them a reason to abuse more girls and think that it's okay, that they'll just get over it. They're always going to be accepting and forgiving. In actuality, it's not forgiveness. You're cursed for having done what you've done, especially during, like, one of the scariest times of my life. Not being able to tend to the baby properly, not having the proper medical care because everyone, refused to see it from my perspective, where I tried. I tried, and then everyone scared me. And there's nothing good out of this situation. So it's not that I'm altering my mind. Oh my God, like, I love him so much. I can't wait for him to come back. He's going to show up right at the birth. Like, no, I know he's not. I know for a fact he's not. And I know for a fact that it would be a wasted effort to try to hold my breath for him to come around and be sensible, because he didn't within a week's time of knowing I was pregnant. So, and then 3 months after our last discussion, he told me not to contact him. And that's all he said to me. That's all he wanted from me, knowing that I was suffering through a pregnancy alone. knowing that I was in a lot of pain, knowing that I was going through a lot. There's a difference if you don't know if someone is actually going through it. There's a difference if you're dealing with a liar. There's a difference when, it's other people that are trying to take advantage of you. But I feel like that didn't happen at all. I wasn't trying to take advantage of him whatsoever. He offered, I accepted, and not sexually. He offered for me to go to the Airbnb, and I accepted and thought we were just going to hang out like I do with most people. And it led to things that I couldn't stop. An entire baby was created, and the hardest part is like knowing that I'm going to have to give him up still. It doesn't matter how much I wish things were different, or, I wish the father would have been a different type of person toward me, but he didn't love me, and he didn't care about me, and we weren't married, and that's not right. It's not right to think that, if he comes back around, it'll be true love. No. If it would have been true love, then he wouldn't have done what he did. And if it would have been true love, he would have respected me more, and he would have been there during like the creation of his child, and wanted to be there regardless of my financial standing. But nobody wants to deal with somebody that doesn't try to get money. Nobody wants to deal with anybody that just doesn't want to put effort into their life and get better. And I'm thinking, well, haven't I shown you people that I've gotten better? But it's not about money, and it's not about education, and it's not about all these other facets in life. It's not even about like the weight loss. It's just going on your personal journey. And I realized that, there's a lot of people that still harass me. Like some message today that said, you slipped up, something about we caught you in your van and saw your face. Okay. I don't know what that's about, but everyone knows where I'm at. Everybody that is important in this story, that holds the keys, they know where I'm at. They have me pinged. They know exactly where I'm staying. They know exactly where I'm sitting. They know exactly who I interact with. And they've known that for like a lot of years. That's why I never hide anything. That's why I don't try to get away with anything, because that would be absurd. Everything can be tracked and traced in this electronic age. So I am very sad because I didn't have time to get to know this father. I didn't have time to reject any of it. It just sort of happened. 9 months and without a place to live. I'm not going to attempt to keep the baby. I'm still going to give him away, regardless of what people want me to think. Oh, he might come back, or, no, he won't. Everyone knows he's not coming back. He doesn't want me. He didn't want me. And I'm not stupid to think that they would change things if he did just show up all of a sudden. It wouldn't change anything. It would still hurt just as much, if not even more, knowing that I had been all alone and he just didn't care. That's very painful. When he just didn't message back after a week, and I was worried at first if anything had happened to him. That's where I realized that I was being stupid again. I was letting men control me, and I don't want that. I want somebody that's going to be there and offer me a home, meaning a loving place to come to with my weaknesses, even if he weren't able to afford for me, it didn't matter to me. And even when I got pregnant, I thought, well, we're not going to move in together. That's crazy and creepy and weird. But as long as he helps support me, to be able to survive in my car, I'll be okay. But there was none of that. So that just left it as rape. That's all it was, because he didn't partake in the growth of the child, and I've never had this happen before. The last times I was pregnant, the people I was dating them, and they knew that was their kids. So my heart hurts really badly. I smile so big, but it hurts so badly. There's like a pain that feels like a spear has just stabbed right through it, because it hurts knowing that I was used. It hurts knowing that I can't keep the baby now because of what he had done. And nothing can change that. Not as many times as I joke around about it with people, not as many times as I, oh, he said this, or I talked to him this other day, and, okay, sure, if it's true, if it's not true, it doesn't matter to me. None of it matters, because he wasn't there, and he'll never be there. He's not that type of person. He may be there for his child, and that's okay, but I'm done. Like, as soon as I have this baby, I'm fine with the fact that it's not going to feed off of my breast, and that it's not going to be the child that I wanted, the child that I thought I was deserving of, to be in like a sensible relationship, and to have a partner that was willing to have offspring with me. I thought online dating, when I disclosed that stuff to people, it would freak them out, and they would be like, okay, well, yeah, we can't have babies right away, because who wants a baby with a random stranger, especially one that looks weird like me, or talks weird, or acts out of emotion. So yeah, I just wanted to disclose that so everyone understood where I'm at, and that I am being sensible. I am understanding that it's not right what had happened. It's not right that I had to get to the point of filing to try to tell the police about it. It shouldn't have gotten that far. If he cared at all, he would have talked to me. He would have simply talked to me. But he didn't. He didn't want anything to do with me, because when I told him what I thought about how he had penetrated me first, he didn't want anything to do with that, because then, he immediately started covering his tracks. And I didn't. I was just honest, and being honest a lot of times gets you in more trouble than being dishonest. And I never wanted anybody to see that. I wanted, the good will prevail, the honest will succeed, and the genuine people will reign over, and that's how it should be. But so far I realize I'm just stupid for having these ideologies, and I'm stupid for having these childlike perceptions that make it out to be like something good's always going to happen, when it's not always good. It's not always good, and I just smile through it, because that's how it gets me through it. So everybody said, what if he comes back? What if he proposed? That doesn't change any of it. You can't just fix it at the last minute. It's like lying on your deathbed and then having, oh, I'm so sorry, God, I shouldn't have raped, I shouldn't have killed, I shouldn't have, oh, I've got 2 seconds to live, but please forgive me. God doesn't forgive those types of, like, last-minute requests in that way. You have to place effort into your living being. You have to place effort into this organic matter, this flesh and blood. You have to make the changes prior to you having everything removed from you. And I've had everything removed from me. My home, my children, my pets, my loved ones, my body. I've gone in and out of my body through the suicide attempts and stuff. I don't understand people. Men are so funny in that way. They're like, well, no, you want to ask God. No, this is the same concept. You can't just show up like the day the baby's born and be like, hey, you know what? This is a healthy one. We should be together. It doesn't work like that. God works on faith and hope and love beforehand, and I've had those things my whole life, and that's why I was being so cynical about disclosing my story in such a manner, because everybody was going to misunderstand the negative portions of my mentality, the negative portions, because they don't really see that my positivity always outweighs that in my personal life, and that I still go about my business. I still work out when I can, and eat healthfully every day as best I can. And even when I'm depressed, I try to snap out of it by doing these healthy coping mechanisms that are beneficial for everyone else's well-being too. So anyway, I'm going to get off of here so I can go use the restroom, but I just wanted to clarify that so that people can understand where I'm coming from. That you can't just fix it with, oh, I'm sorry. No, changed behavior is what fixes it. Changed action. Words mean nothing in this day and age. You can't hold anyone to their word. As we all know and can tell through my story, he promised me the plan B, and he never followed through. And I was not financially stable enough to just purchase it on a whim. That was $50 that I just didn't have in the bank, and it was his responsibility to have that birth control because he was the one that violated me. It wasn't the other way around, and it sure wasn't me seeking it out. And the fact that he didn't use a condom, and then he turned around and offended me and asked me about that later when I had asked him, like, if we were going to have sex again. I thought maybe we were in a relationship. Maybe if I just, I shut up about the first time, that meant that we were in a relationship because we had sex a second time. So I was naive to think that. And so that doesn't change that he still forced himself on me the first time. And in the courts, they should recognize that. They should recognize that that was a violent act, and that was unnecessary and uncalled for and unwarranted and completely unsolicited, because I wasn't out. It would be different had I had a bunch of fakery on, like I was trying to get pregnant or trying to get somebody to fornicate with me. But I know that I was, and still am, highly desirable to a lot of people. I could pick and choose if I wanted to have sex, even today, even right now, even if I walked into that gym right there and told them, like, hey, any one of the dudes, not any one of them, but some of them, like the single ones and everything, and even some of the ones that are in relationships. I mean, look at the father of the child. I don't trust anything that he had told me in his story, aside from the fact that he had these children that he obviously didn't love. He obviously doesn't care for his children, because when he told the woman from the sperm bank situation, or whatever he told me about that, and he said, well, she sent me a picture after it was born, and I told her, you're not supposed to do that. Whoa. If I had children out there, I would want to know if they were okay. I would want to know if they were safe and if they were tended to. Otherwise, I wouldn't have ejaculated in a cup. Like, people are sick, and I knew he was mentally ill when I met him. I knew he had like psychotic tendencies because of what he had done. But I thought through how he had portrayed that he had learned from it, that he was trying. But then when we got to the Airbnb and I realized, no, this guy is just a goddamn prick. There's no changing him. There's no making him better. You know, the fact that he said they want a relationship, just not with you. And then after he finished up with my body and I woke up at the end, and like I said, it was like a movie. It was like waking up and he was like on the other side of the bed is what it felt like. But in actuality, my lower half was on that portion and he was attached to it. It felt like he was a mile away. Like it felt like when I woke up, he was very far off the bed, like hanging off very far. But it was right there, and it was still like attached to me, you know. And when he said like I'm about to come and he did it all over me, I didn't know how to take it. I started crying, silently to myself, because I knew that there was nothing I could say or do that would fix it, or even anybody that I could call that would say, well, yeah, that was not okay. You know, this guy, he's not okay. Like, why did you do that to her? You know, I don't have a good dad. I don't have brothers that would stand up for me. Instead, I have them, you witness, they would rather beat the shit out of me for the truth, and beat the shit out of me for getting violated, and beat the shit out of me for not fighting in that moment. And I was like, hold on, you knew how we were raised. You're like, you can't fight in the moment, because if you tried to fight back, you would be fucking strangled to death, you know? Our father was very, very cruel and very sadistic in that manner. If you tried to fight back, he was bigger, he was stronger, his hands could crush you. So, and that's the same like with the U.S. government, because that's all they want to do is allow these men to wander around destroying women and destroying our lives and destroying our hopes and dreams and our faith, and leaving us with no love, leaving us heartless. And then they wonder, what's wrong with you? Why are you such a bitch? What? That's why I completely, when anybody approached me, especially in dating, if there were any words, any phrases that were a red flag to me, I immediately shut it down. I did not approach it. It wasn't worth my time. So even with Jason, the way that we had corresponded, the way that we were discussing things, at one point a couple times he tried saying some flirtatious stuff, but it was more like graphically flirtatious as opposed to, you know, gentle or childlike. I can't handle this. I can't handle this. Like, I'm literally gonna give birth to this guy's kid, and he just didn't care, and he was in denial, and that doesn't make it right for the woman at all. It doesn't make it right. I've gone through so much in hormone fluctuations, so much in like my mental instabilities, and wondering, where am I going to go to be safe? Where am I going to have this to be safe? And I realized there is nowhere I can go to be safe. There's no one I can be around to be safe. I have to take care of this myself, and God has to help me through it, because there is no living human on earth that would be kind enough to deal with the situation, to help me through it and hold my hand. And I realized that when I went back to my mom's house, you know, and she coddled my brother for attacking me. That was rough. You know, I just always have to realize I am completely alone in this world, and the only person I can trust is not really a person, not flesh and blood, just everything, just particles around us. That's who I put my faith in. That's who I place my efforts toward, is, you know, that concept that just do better and be better, and, you know, God is a benevolent God, and at some point you'll end up with something better than what you were allotted, which hopefully is just death, peace after death, because I can't stand this anymore. I hope everyone has a wonderful day Today is August 18th, 2022. I just wanted to clarify, tell everyone, yes, I'm very sensible right now. I'm not making these rash decisions like when I feed myself a bunch of toxic fast food, those impulse decisions that I have due to my waning mental health and instabilities due to all of the physiological changes that are going on in my body. And soon enough, I'll be ripped in half. And as much as I would love to just make love to someone, before having the baby to help me, to help progressively just with the childbirth too, there is no man. There's no father to this child. There's no one. There's nobody that's going to show up at the very end to say, okay, yeah, no, I love you. Like you went through all that alone, and I love you, and I respect you, and what you created was something that was unique to me and unique to us, and worthwhile to the world. None of it was. It was just a one-night stand. It was just a one-night stand, and there is nothing special about each individual person in that way. It's just a bunch of it's just a bunch of DNA jumbled up together, just code. And this child will be fine by himself because I proved I'm fine by myself. The father proved that he's fine by himself, or whomever he spends his time with. But this baby will be fine alone. And if the father wants to fight to keep him, then sure, I don't care. Like, do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. It's none of my business. I don't fight you guys. You guys do whatever you want. The military, the government, if you feel like that I'm the issue after you've fucking raped and stolen from me and stole my daughter years ago, like, you guys are sick. You guys are totally sick. There's something wrong with you. My psychologist tried to say that, like, oh, this could be your opportunity to show people that you're a good mom. Yeah, it is. Because I know I have nothing for him. And I know that giving him away would be a better opportunity for him than staying lodged in a car just feeding off of my tit and getting bigger and lonely and sad and just knowing that we were not wanted, knowing that there's no actual family, that it's just a mom and a baby. And that's not a family to me. I wanted a family unit. I wanted to find somebody that was tangible so that they would be there to hold me at night. And that's not what happened in this situation. So that's why the rejection started happening earlier on. And then when they put me in jail, I stopped crying over it. It finally solidified that the value of this child to the world around it is not like I placed more value into the life because I was stupid and believed that God loved it. But the world doesn't love it. Society doesn't love it. So that's also a part of God. And I realized that, and I realized that this baby has got to go. And wherever he goes, I just pray he's safe. I just pray he's okay. And like if he goes with his dad, hopefully his dad changes. Hopefully he, becomes a better person and doesn't have to do these things to girls like me. And hopefully nobody ever touches me like that again. I didn't think I could handle more pain. But the world proves me wrong every day. Because I'm not a pretty girl. It's the pretty ones that deserve everything. Loving homes and husbands that don't hurt them. And fancy things. and safe places. They deserve that. Not trash like me. Not trash like my child that was born out of sin. I knew not to expect it, but I still, in some portion of my heart, thought that would happen before I would give birth again. I thought that there would be somebody that would want me and not want to just use my body, you know? But that didn't happen, so I just have to cheer up, Buttercup. It happens to every girl. It happens to all of us. It happens to all of the strong ones that survive. Because, you know, why do I care if my offspring is out somewhere? The father didn't care about his offspring, so, I mean, like, that's how it goes, so that's how the flow of energy works. And you can't just all of a sudden change who you are and just start being a caring, loving dad. And like, no, there were no attempts in that. So there's no father for this baby. And if they give it to him, then I don't really have very high hopes for them being together, because he's not like he's going to give him the emotional support that he deserves. He didn't respect him from his conception, so why would he respect or offer him the appropriate love as he's growing up? People don't change like that. Monsters don't change like that. Psychopaths don't change like that. They manipulate situations and they hurt others, and they just, and then on their deathbed, oh my God, don't take me now. I want to still rape and pillage more people. What are you talking about? I'm so sorry. It doesn't work that way. But okay, whatever you perceive, if that's what you think. Last minute request. Sure, you're saved. You're saved. You're saved because you're passing over and you're not going to be in any more physical pain in this realm. But the cycle will not end itself. It won't. Either you and your spirit or your offspring and the spirit that you left within them are going to have to deal with the consequences of your actions at some point. That's how it works. That's why they say about like the karma and, you know, rebirth, all that type of stuff. Anyway, but yeah, I hope everybody has a wonderful day. I'm not looking forward to giving birth yet. I hope he stays in as long as he can, and then I don't have like crazy contractions. I'm so sad. I wish I were dead. August 18th, 2022. Leticia Collins Servin. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day and they're safe and happy and are well fed. And take care of yourself and those around you. I love you. Bye-bye.